It only feels like yesterday that DJI released the Osmo Action 3, but now it's September already, a full year has elapsed and the Osmo Action 4 is upon us. Let's see how it performs. Now, I have to say from the outset that my testing of this camera was curtailed a little bit. I had a little bit of an accident with it while kayaking out in Norway. Suffice to say that it survived the hit. It took a pretty hard knock, to be honest, although it has cracked the lens protector and I couldn't get hold of another one. None of them were available yet, so I haven't been able to replace it and carry on testing, but I have done quite a bit with it. Now, the Action 4 is more of an evolution over the Action 3. It has a few extra capabilities here and there, but they're more aimed towards the pro end of the market. For example, you now have a D-Log-M picture profile in 10-bit color, and that will suit people who need to grade their image and match them to other cameras. As well as that, they've added more picture control, so you can now reduce the noise reduction and also the sharpening. This is a feature that I've been asking for so long on these cameras. It's essential as far as I'm concerned. It's amazing what these cameras are capable of doing, and I don't like to see them hobbled by over-edge enhancement and that kind of digital sort of look that we often got in the past. So it's really great that you can now adjust the picture profile settings to your liking in that way. Now, the camera has retained the magnetic system that was found on the Osmo Action 3. It's really strong and it held really well when I took that big knock while out kayaking. So it was a big relief for me to see that it held solid. I really do wish that other manufacturers like GoPro would adopt a similar system. It makes swapping mounts so much easier and quicker than having to undo those thumb screws all the time. It's a system that I think should become standard across the board. Now, one of the features I really like about the Osmo Action 4 is the battery life. I often took spare batteries with me while I was out kayaking, but I never had to use them. Now, admittedly, I'm a bit more selective about what I shoot with these cameras. I only press record when I think there's going to be something worth recording. But nevertheless, with a GoPro, I'm normally running out of battery by the end of the day or before the end of the day, and I have to swap to a new one. With this, I never had to swap the battery out, so I was doing a whole day on a single battery. That's impressive, and it's something that users will really appreciate, particularly if they're into their action sports and they're out doing water sports where changing the battery isn't so easy or convenient without accidentally getting water droplets inside the battery compartment. That's always a risk. So the battery life on this is a major plus point. Now, the resolutions and frame rates on the Action 4 are the same as the Action 3, but there is one small change you can make regarding the stabilization. Now, if you put the Action 4 into the 4:3 mode and you turn a rock steady stabilization off, it will embed the stabilization gyro data into the file, and you can use third-party software then to stabilize your image in post. And I know there are FPV pilots out there who prefer to stabilize their image in editing, so this caters to that market. It still retains the white balance sensor on the front of the camera, which makes color accuracy really good when you put it into auto white balance. I generally prefer to set my white balance for the conditions to get consistency throughout the shots. But if you use the auto white balance, you do get a very accurate result. You get pleasing colors. It's a really nice image to look at, and I think you will never be disappointed with the results that you get from this camera. Now, because the sensor on this is larger than the Action 3, the lens protectors are not interchangeable, so you will need to change those over. If you want new ND filters, you'll have to get the new ND filter set for this camera, and that's just as a result of the different lens size because the sensor is larger than it is in the Action 3. Something else I really like about this camera is how fast it is to turn on. When you use the quick record function where you press record and the camera automatically turns on and starts recording, then you press the record button again and that stops recording and turns the camera off automatically. The startup time is noticeably faster on this than it is on the GoPro. And you know, it's only maybe half a second or so, but that can be the difference between getting the shot and not getting the shot. So I really appreciate that. Another nice little feature is that when you press the record to stop recording, it gives you a 3-second countdown by which you can press the record button again if you suddenly decide that you want to carry on recording. The only drawback with this is that if you press the record button again to stop recording, it doesn't automatically switch off. So a little bit of an oversight there, so maybe that will change in the future firmware. Now, DJI has thought about what users want in a practical sense with this camera, and rather than go for all-out resolution and frame rates and all the rest of it, it's gone for practical solutions. And another one of these is the fast charging. Now, you can charge this camera to 80% of power within 18 minutes using the PD power delivery system. And that's really great because sometimes you don't know that you want to go out with the camera. You might want to quickly charge it, and you can do that in next to no time at all. This makes it really convenient. It also means that if you have a USB battery pack, you can also charge a camera very quickly in the field if that's what you need to do. Another plus point of this camera is that the front screen is touch sensitive, which means that you can access all your settings when the camera is facing you. That's a really convenient thing to have when you're doing selfie shots or vlogging. Once again, one of my favorite features of this camera is the 155-degree ultra wide angle view. I think this is absolutely fantastic for POV. It's been one of my favorite features of the Action series ever since the Action 2, even though I didn't particularly like that one as a camera. But here it's sublimely good. It's absolutely great for kayaking and other sports where you need those POV shots, so really wide, immersive FOV. So would I recommend the Action 4 as an upgrade to existing users of the Action 3? Perhaps not. This is much more of an evolution. If you're mixing with professional cameras on a shoot and you're using it as a stunt camera and you need that D-Log-M picture profile, then yes, this is the camera to get. Although you will still get a pretty good result with the Action 3 because that still has 10-bit color, don't forget, and a flat color profile. Although this one does look, to my eyes, noticeably better. Also, if you need that added picture control, such as the noise reduction adjustments and the sharpening adjustments, then of course this is the one to go for. And of course that suits power users much better than the Action 3. So the Action 4 is more of a small evolution over the Action 3. It is still an exceptionally good action camera and very much a competitor to GoPro. It holds its own in every regard, although we have yet to see what GoPro has up its sleeve for the Hero 12 Black. At £379 for the base camera, it represents good value for money and is slightly less than the competition as well. I've really enjoyed using the Action 4. It's been rock solid the entire time. It hasn't missed a beat, it hasn't crashed on me, I've had no freeze-ups or lock-ups. It's performed absolutely flawlessly. The only drawback is that I smashed the lens protector, and annoyingly I didn't have it recording at the time, so I don't have that particular action moment to show you. But overall, if you are in the market for a new action camera, I can wholeheartedly recommend this as something for your consideration.